Dear students, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, based on the time zone at presently you are staying. First of all, I welcome all of you for our YouTube channel. You know very well, I am Selvamani Krishnamurthy, your information technology teacher who is sitting in front of you. This is Java video lesson number 25. What we are going to study in this lesson? We are going to study new concept that is called as exception. What is exception? What do you mean by exception? How it will happen in our program? How to handle this exception with the help of three keywords: try, catch, finally. That is what we are going to study in this lesson. Is it clear? Good. As usual, I like to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to all. Good. See Java programming, Java video lesson number 25. Exception. What is exception? So exception is the unexpected error situation occurred during program execution, which causes termination of our program unexpectedly. This is called exception. Unexpected error. We created one program. We tested that program. That program works correctly or properly. We are very much confident. But the problem is, if you are giving certain set of values, that program is working fine. When peculiar data if you are giving, this program raises error. That is called exception. Okay, we cannot check with all values. Randomly we are checking. We are creating one program. We are testing the program with the random value. Any specific value when we are giving as an input, if the problem occurs, our program didn't work fine, then it's said to be unexpected error. For example, array index range out of range, array index reference out of range, divide an integer by 0, and so on. What do you mean by array index range out, array index reference out of range? Very simple. Already we studied array. We are creating one array which can able to store maximum of 5 elements. Is it clear? We are creating one integer array that can able to store maximum of 5 integer values. But we are trying to assign sixth value into that array. Then it is called error. Am I right? In same way, divide an integer by 0. You know very well, 10 divided by 5, it will give 2. 10 divided by 2, it will give number 5, no problem. What will happen? 10 is divided by 0. You know very well, that is infinity. You cannot find. Okay, you cannot find. That is said to be divide an integer by 0. Here, we are having one program, very simple. I want to divide two numbers. I want to divide two numbers using user-defined method. That also we studied. Okay, see it here. First, I will explain. Main program is there. Int result equal to divide 10, 0. Am I right? Good. So what will happen? Here divide also there. Here also divide. What will happen? This divide is a function called. Now this main is a calling function. This divide is a called function or user-defined function. By seeing this word divide, control will be transferred to user-defined function called divide. 10 will be assigned to x, 0 will be assigned to y, no problem. Return 10 divided by 0. What will happen? It cannot return any value. It cannot return any value. You know very well. 10 cannot be divided by 0. Any integer cannot be, any value cannot be divided by 0. Our program abnormally terminated. It shows error. Is it clear? Good. What will happen if 0 is replaced by any other integer? If 0 is replaced by any value, any other value, it will run correctly. Am I right? For example, here 0 instead of 0, I am giving 5. 10, 5. Assume. Instead of 0, I am giving 5. 10, 5. 10 will be assigned to x, 5 will be assigned to y. Now x is 10, y is 5. 10/5, it returns number 2. The 2 will be stored into result division 2. Is it clear? That means what I would like to convey to you, if any other value other than 0, if I'm giving here, this program works very nicely. If I'm giving 0 here, our program shows runtime error. That is exception, unexpected exception. How to catch this exception? How to handle this exception? That is what we are going to study, exception handling. Now you are clear. What do you mean by exception? How it will happen? Good. See, steps involved in exception handling. 3 steps are involved. Identify the areas in our program or code where error can occur. In this case, this coding, this line int result equal to divide 10, 0 can able to raise exceptions. Okay. Receive the error information. What exception can rise? So receive the error information. Take the corrective action to recover from the error. In this case, this line can able to cause exception. First, what exception? Divide by 0 exception. What to do if divide by 0 exception is raised? Those are the 3 steps. Identify the areas in the code where error can occur. Receive the error information. Take corrective action to recover from the error. Is that fine? Good. 3 steps. To do these all 3 steps, Java provides following keywords to handle these exceptions. Java provides following keywords to handle an exception. Number 1, try. Number 2, catch. Number 3, finally. Try, catch, finally. 3 keywords. Block, try is a one block. It surrounds the part of the code that can generate exception. What is the meaning? The coding which can able to raise exception should be enclosed within try block. That means these statements should be enclosed within try block. Fine. Next one is catch. Block follows try block. Catch block needs to follow try block. After try, there should be a catch. A catch block contains the specific code that is executed when the exception occurs. The code what we want to execute when the exception rises. That statement should be placed within catch block. Is it clear? Good. Multiple catch block following a try block can handle different types of exception. If our coding rise only one exception, no problem. One catch is enough. What will happen if our coding, this coding, rises more than exception? For example, it may be divide by 0 exception or index reference out of range exception. Same set of coding raised more than one exception. Then we should go for multiple catch block. That means one catch block for array index reference out of range. Another catch block for divide by 0 exception. Like this. Okay, fine. What about the third keyword? Finally, it is optional. If you want, you can use finally, otherwise you can leave it. Optional block always executed whether an exception occurs or not. That means the statement lies within finally will execute irrespective of exception happen or not. Either exception happen or not, finally will execute. Once again recap, the statement which can generate exception should be placed in try. The statement needs to be executed when the exception tries. That should be placed within catch. The statements need to execute irrespective of either exception raised or not. No problem. The statement needs to execute. That statement should be placed within finally. Is it clear? See the one block diagram of the try catch finally. Try part of the program where exception may occur. Catch exception type 1 argument 1. Handle the exception of exception type 1. Catch exception type 2 argument 2. Handle exception of exception type 2. Assume our coding can raise two exceptions. Array index reference out of range as well as divide by 0. That statement should be placed within try. Okay. Here, first catch. Statement needs to be executed when divide by 0 exception right should be placed inside try. First try. Statement needs to execute when array index reference out of range exception right. That should be placed in this catch. See their code to be executed when try block exit. That is finally. The statements needs to be executed either exception raised or not. No problem. That statement should be placed within finally. Is it clear? Good. Now see steps involved again. The try block is examined to detect any exception. We are having try, catch, finally, or. The try block is examined to detect any exception. If any exceptions are or not. If an exception is found, an exception object is created and thrown. Fine. Then control enters the catch block whose argument matches the type of the exception object thrown. Assume in this case, our try block contains some statement. That statement can raise two different exceptions. It may be a divide by 0. It may be an array index reference out of range exception. Okay. Now array index range out of exception raised. Assume. Then control enters the catch block whose argument matches the type of the exception object thrown. Is it fine? That particular catch will execute. Other catch will not execute. If a match is found, the statement in that catch block are executed for handling the exception. Fine. If no exception is found in the try block, that means the statement lies within try block didn't raise any exception. The catch class that follow the try block are not executed. If exception rise, corresponding catch block will execute. If exception is not rise, nothing, no problem. The statement lies in catch will not execute. Finally, block is executed whether exception occurs or not. Either exception rise or not, no problem. Finally, will execute. I hope this is clear to all. Here, the same problem. Here we are having one problem. Okay. 0. If I give other than 0, it will work fine. If I give 0, it tries error, program terminates abnormally. We want to handle the exception. How I can handle the exception? See it here. This int result divide 10, 0 can able to raise divide by 0 exception. That is why these statements are placed within try. Am I right? What will happen? What to do if divide by 0 exception rise? That statement is placed within catch. Finally is option. Either exception raised or not, this finally will do. Assume in this case, I am giving 10, 5. You know very well, 10, 5 will not raise any exception. That means result equal to divide 10, 5. 10 will be assigned to x, 5 will be assigned to y. Now, x is 10, y is 5. Return 2. Result will be assigned to division 2. There is no exception in try block. So this catch will not execute. Finally will execute. Irrespective of exception raised or not, finally will execute. Program completed. The expected output will be division 2 program complete. What will happen if I am giving 10, 0 like this? Surely you know very well. exception will rise. How will happen? Divide 10 comma 0, it will rise. Divide by 0, exception. Divide by 0, exception. Then what will happen? This catch will be need to run. System.out.println e.getMessage. This e is a one object. It has one method called getMessage. It returns what type of exception raised. In this case, divide by 0 exception raised. That will be displayed. That means your exception raised, that expression is catched and handled by this catch statement. Am I right? After that, finally will execute. Program completed. Is it clear? Good. I hope so. I will demonstrate the same program in front of you so that it will be easy for you to understand. First, I will demonstrate this one. Then we can go for how to handle the exception. Is it clear? Then it will be easy for you. Good. I'm creating a new project. If you want to give any name, you can give, otherwise you can leave it. By default, one name will be assigned. Good. I hope new project is created. Please make sure I'm deleting only command, nothing else. I want to create one user-defined method. Static, return type int, function name is divide. It need to add parameter. Okay. With return, it should accept two values and return division of two values, x and y. Here, int result equal to divide. First, I can give 10, 5. No need to worry about exception, just simple program. I want to divide two numbers. 10/5, that's all. System.out.println division. Normal division operator. Here I need to do result. I think everything fine. Good. Let us check the result. The result should be division colon 2. See the output, division colon 2. Program is working fine. I change the values 2. What will happen? 10 will be assigned to x, y2 will be assigned to y. 10 divided by 2, 5. 5 will be assigned to result. Division is 5. Check. I got very good result. Whatever value I'm giving here, I'm getting very good correct result. What will happen if I'm assigned 0? Okay, let us check the result. Now it raises exception. Is it clear? This is called our program abnormally terminated. Raises the exception. Which exception raises? Divide /by 0 exception. If I'm giving any other value, for example, I'm giving 5, it will work nicely. Okay, I'm getting a correct result. If I'm giving 0, program is correct. The only thing is value is wrong. This value rises divide by 0 exception. Is it clear? Good. So how to solve this problem? This is what our question. Now can we provide the error exception handling program? Okay. This statement can cause error. First try. The statement or coding which can capable of raising exception should be placed within try block. First step. Second step, H. What will happen if exception is raised? That should be placed within catch. I want to display what type of exception raised. That is what my aim. System.out.println e.getMessage. This getMessage is a one method available under exception class. It displays or returns the type of the exception raised. Then this finally is an optional block. I want to display some reserve values. Just system program completed like this. Either exception raised or not, no problem. This finally will execute. Program completed. Let us check. First, we will try with the number 5. No need to worry about exception now. No need to worry about exception now. This is what. So what will happen? 10, 5, 10 will be assigned to X as usual, 5 will be assigned to Y, it returns 2, 2 will be displayed, division. Here we can put 1 0. Division colon result. Since there is no exception, no need to worry about catch. Either exception rise or not. In this case, exception did not rise, so finally will execute. Catch will not execute. Let us check. Division colon 2, program completed. This is what our expected output. I try with number 2 also. Now also, exception not rise. No need to worry about catch. Finally will execute. Result will be division colon 5, program completed. Now I replace the value with by 0. What will happen? This coding raise exception. What exception to raise? Divide by 0 exception. This exception is handled by this catch statement. Am I right? E.getMessage. What message it will return? Divide by 0 exception. Finally, we'll let us check. See, now program completed or terminated properly, not abnormal termination, not runtime error. How? Because this statement is placed within try. Here exception raised. What exception? Divide by 0 exception. That exception is handled or catched by this catch statement. E.getMessage. That way /by 0 error. Fine. After that, finally executed. Program completed. Is it clear? I hope so. Now, as usual, we can go for question bank. Recap. Exception is unexpected error situation occurred during program execution, which causes termination of program unexpectedly. Is it fine? Don't forget, exception means unexpected error. Array index reference out of range. Divide an integer by 0 or some exception. There are so many exceptions on that, but we studied only divide by 0 exception. One more thing is the array index reference out of range. Try blocks surround the part of the code that can generate exception. The statement which can cause exception should be placed within try block. Catch block follows a try block. After try, there should be catch. See it here. First try, then catch, then finally. Catch block follows a try block. A catch block contains specific code that is executed when the exception occurs. Multiple catch block follows a try block can handle different types of exception. In this example, we are handling only divide by 0 exception, one exception fine. What will happen if our code rise more than one exception? Then multiple catch block. Different type of exception means multiple catch. Finally, it is an optional block. Always executed, whether exception occurs or not. In this program, if a 10, 0 means catch will not execute, finally will execute. 10, 5 means, sorry, 10, 5 means exception will not will not rise, catch will not execute, finally will execute. 10, 0 means catch also will execute, finally also will execute. That means what? Irrespective of exception raised or not, finally will execute. Catch will execute only when exception raised or not. Okay, good. That is finally means optional block always executed whether exception occurs or not. Is it clear? Can you try the question number 1? Try it yourself. Dash is unexpected error situation occurred during program execution, which causes termination of program unexpectedly. What is the answer? Good. Exception. Array index reference out of range. Divide an integer by 0 are some of the examples of what? Good. Exception. Dash block surrounds the part of the code that can generate exception. What is the answer? Very good. Try block. Try block should have the statement which can generate exception. Catch block follows dash block. First try, then catch. Very good. Catch block follows try block. Dash block contains specific code that is executed when exception occurs. Very good. Catch block. Dash block following a try block can handle different type of exception, more than one exception. Multiple catch. Very good. Try the 7th one. Dash is optional block. What is optional? Very good. Finally. Finally is a optional block always executed when exception occurs or not. Is it clear? Good. I hope all of you enjoy the lesson. I hope all of you understand this lesson. Today I stop here itself. In next lesson, let us study something extra. Until then, thank you students. Have a nice good day. See you. Bye-bye.